most of the money in Ghana did not help those of us in the informal sector. It came in to either pay for roads, bridges, airports, major infrastructure, which were not even owned by Ghanaians.
My guest today on Election Desk here on Ghanaweb TV is the flag bearer of the CPP in person of Nana Akosua Frimpomaa Sapon Kuma. Your name is long.
Papa, indeed.
Nana Akosua Sapon Kuma. Yeah.
No, you even left one. Nana Akosua Frimpomaa Sapon Kuma. It's the longest name in the yes. Yes, the longest name in the election so far.
Wow. And you were the Janto Hema.
Yes, so that's why I have such a long name.
Okay.
I would say the maiden name was the Akosua Sapon. That's the name I was born with. Okay. I was born on a Sunday. Then Sapon is my father's name.
Okay.
But by our Ghana African tradition, almost every Sapon is also a Kuma.
Okay.
But it's not every Sapon that carries it, because the name Kuma is a heavy name.
Kuma, yes.
So basically, for us young people, growing up as a child, people teased me with the name, so I didn't carry that name that much. They would call me all kinds of names. Once they remember Kuma. And my daddy was very popular then, so the teacher would say, hey, Kuma, so it's like. But yeah. I then became a queen mother, and then the stool name is the Nana Akosua Frimpomaa, because my Frimpomaa is my grandmother's name, who was the queen mother then. So I took the Akosua Frimpomaa the second. So the name, the Jantua name is Nana Akosua Frimpomaa the second. So now that I'm doing the political portion, and I did a lot with the Nana Frimpomaa. I ran an NGO for the youth and children across the country for almost 25 years. So I couldn't just drop it, because people have known me as that, and for being a Doma, the traditional area, for the entire Doma traditional area, I couldn't just let the name go. So I carried the name. So it's Nana Akosua Frimpomaa Sapon Kuma. So I've combined it with my father's name as well.
That's interesting.
Yes.
Now let's delve into politics, or let's say the main reason why we're here. On the ballot sheet, we have 2 women.
Yes.
And you're one of them.
Definitely.
How exciting can that be?
It's great. So for me, it just gives, especially the youth and the people of this nation, I've always wished that there's an option. Because we all have a lot of reasons why we should not vote for one or the other. Even if you look at the pattern of the voting in Ghana, look at what happened in 2016. It was an overwhelming 10 to NPP. Yet today, as we sit here, people are frustrated with the system. So what's going to be the option? Do they just go back? No. So we need to give them an option. And I'm so glad that the CPP option happens to come in me. And the CPP option is the Osagyefos option. The Osagyefos option is the one that really looks at the interest of the Ghanaian, the welfare of the people of this nation. So I'm thankful to God. That has always been my passion, to serve people, to do things for the nation. As a traditional authority, you grow up, or you in your environment, you always want to see the best. You want to help people. You want to see how people prosper. And for me, I've believed all the time that the best way to help anybody, especially as a woman, is to help the person's children. Okay. If you let the children succeed, you'd help the mother. Because the mother's desire is to see that her children succeed. Every mother, from conception, you just take care of this child right from birth. I mean, even in the ovaries, everywhere in the uterus, you just take care of the child till the time that the child is born properly. If you have to avoid alcohol, I used to love beer, but the moment I conceive, no beer. Yeah. I won't take it. Nothing. I always take only the things that I know is going to let the baby, the fetus grow and become healthy. So that is what it is. And it's like that till whenever you go to your own grave. So as a mother, that is what I bring to the table. What is it that would make Ghana be the best for every child, not just mind-blessed children?
Looking at
every child.
Ghana's political space, do you think women are given enough opportunity?
I would say absolutely no. Even the numbers clearly shows that. How many women are into politics, how many are in the decision making, and yet we know that it's not just people who implement, but the people who make decisions at the helm of decision making. They are the ones that are supposed to consider everybody because they're policy makers. So women are into doing in leadership today, but in terms of decision making,
you don't really get to see the women.
Not yet. And yet, the decisions that are made affect over 50% of the populace who are women. And then you take a chunk part of the populace who are young people who are then under the care of women. So it is so important that we consider women in everything. However, what I have come to realize is that if the women want to wait and be handed over power or leadership, it won't happen.
So unless women rise to the occasion?
You must present yourself. You fall in the process. It's not going to be easy. It's very difficult. In fact, it's so annoying sometimes as a woman because you can see clear. I don't want to always feel like people are being discriminatory, okay? Because then if you don't take care, you even see the other positive side and the good side of being a woman. But it's very, very, very obvious when you are in leadership position. The kind of things that they throw at you, the kind of decisions that would be taken for granted other places, you need to work extra for it. And even when you do, you are called names. So it's not easy. And I'm glad that I've gotten this opportunity. I let it to be so that it becomes like some sort of hope for other people that don't wait for it. Especially if you know the story, how far I've come. I've come through a lot of struggle to get here. Major struggles. Within simple things, you understand? So, yes.
Looking at well, the question I asked you, I want to find out, should you become the president?
I will be the president.
Are we supposed to see a lot of women in your government?
First of all, women will present themselves. That's what I'm trying to tell. There are a lot of women who are qualified, you understand? But they're hiding. And for obvious reasons, especially like I'm saying in politics in Ghana, there's so much debt thrown at you. There's so much that comes at you when you are trying to rise up. And so for that reason, there are lots of qualified, good women who are just not ready for that game. Even when they are ready, their husbands, their children will tell them to hold on. I strongly believe that even as we've started, there are a lot of women who have come out in the open trying to support. And they tell you clearly because they know that a woman's touch is needed today in this country. So yes, I would make a conscious effort to ensure if the two people are qualified, I'd consider the woman. And I would consider the woman because I want more women to come into decision-making positions in this country. It is important. Not because they have to take over the men, but to supplement and work together. Even if it's equal. If it means that in Parliament would have not this 13 to 15% that we have, would have equal numbers. The deficit is too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. So I would definitely push and consider women absolutely, absolutely.
Sure.
If I had a choice, I would even have picked a woman as my running mate. But I didn't have a woman readily available that could come and, people tell. But I really didn't mind. If two men can do it, two women can do it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sure. Let's now move to the main issue that is, or let's say it's trending now, the galamsey issue. As we're on our way here, people are still demonstrating, they're protesting. They need an end to this because our water bodies are being destroyed.
Rightfully so.
Those who protested have been arrested and are going to be arraigned before court on the 8th of October. This then has just been back and forth with no solution in sight. What would you do differently?
And let me first of all say congratulations to all the youth out there and women. Get up. Let's not your children be the ones on the streets alone. Let's all go join them. It is absolutely necessary. This should have been done some years back. We've sat there till this time, and we are still demonstrating. It should go beyond demonstration. You have to see it with your own eyes.
Have you seen our rivers?
I have done even a video online. I've been there physically. I went to do a program, and on my way, we passed through the bridge, the Ankobra River. And I love crabs. So I saw some boys with crabs. I said, hey, let me go buy some. Then it just dawned on me that this crab is coming from not far from wherever. And you turn around and you look at the river, and it's not even Milo. Because even nobody will make that kind of Milo for their children. Me, I'll beat my child if he does that. Because it means that he puts all the tin of Milo in one teacup. You understand? You should share and make sure it stays for a month or something. But this is a combination of coffee, Milo, tea, everything combined. And we call it river. We call it drink. And this is what the women are selling the shrimps and the crabs from. So after I bought and negotiated and came on, since today till today, 2 years from now till today, I hardly can eat my crab. I really love crabs. I hardly can eat them. Whenever I bite into it and I'm chewing it, then I remember. No, it's not accepted. At that time, I asked you, me see man sobbing fan to one bomb. I say, yeah, that's what I was waiting for. That women will get up. We must get up for our children. So if we have sat there as adults, and young people are doing this, they have families, they have to go to work. We need to be sensitive to this situation. This situation is beyond demonstration. It's beyond demonstration.
So what will you do differently?
Instant, the day I swear that oath, and I can say this with my water oath that I said, there'll be no galamsey in Ghana.
Why do you want to wait till you swear an oath before?
Because I can only
take up the challenge. Like now that they're even protesting, I believe you can equally join them.
I have at least written to the chief justice that they should relook at the condition that what they've done to the youth, because yes, I don't believe in excesses, and it's always there when you go on demonstration. So it is important that you work with the law enforcement, because we cannot have indiscipline in the system. The law and authorities must work. So when they say don't pass there, you must follow that instruction. So I do not agree that people went off their way. But at the same time, I can say also that the reason for which they went to demonstrate must supersede anything that could have gone wrong. And so for that reason, the judiciary must overlook this and look at it and give them a bail. A bail. They must be given a bail. Why do you put somebody in remand for 2 weeks just for demonstrating against something that can kill you, and it's already killing you anyway? How many people, do you know how much you have been affected by the chemicals in that water? Listen, the problem that we are facing with galamsey, it's no more a human discussion anymore. We need to rise up. It makes us not feel like we are human beings. The fact that we have gold shouldn't be a curse. It should be bring prosperity to the youth and for us. So we cannot continue to mine the gold the way we are doing. That is our resources. Let's put a halt to it, and let's restructure the system. That is why we have the Ghana Bashers. I can assure every youth listening to me, though we would halt the production, or will halt the galamsey, guaranteed you would own the gold. Take my word on this. You would own the gold. There will be no galamsey, but the gold will be yours. Therefore, what it means is that you would mine the gold in a more professional, sensible, humane way that would keep you and your generation to enjoy.
Before they mine the gold to make it theirs, what happened to the rivers?
You mean before they mine?
Before, like when you come into power, that you were saying, like the Ghana Bashers, that they will take the gold and make it theirs to help them as Ghanaians. What happens to the rivers? that have been destroyed over the years.
Precisely.
How are we going to treat them?
There has to be, that's why we have authorities. There has to be some people with speciality who we would employ to know how we convert this. Even the seawater can now be turned into drinking water. If we can do that, it means that we must find a way of taking the chemicals out of the water and ensuring that we do not continue to pollute the water. That is no reason. The fact that it's been gone wrong today doesn't mean that we must make it continue. We have a responsibility to ourselves and to humanity and to our children and their children's children. We must make sure the environment stays better. That is what human beings are supposed to do. Technology is supposed to make life easy and better for us. Any technology that destroys your life and destroys the life of the next generation, it's a curse, and that is what we shouldn't allow. Our system would hot galamsey. However, in addition to the Ghanaweb shares, which is the funding that we are going to give to every young person, including every galamsey person listening to me, every one of you, whether you are 2 million of you, 10 million, because it's going to 20 million young people, will have an entitlement of 20,000 Ghana. That 20,000 Ghana means that 1,000 of you would have access to 20 million Ghana cedis. That 20 million is what that investment, that cooperative, that corporation that you would have shares in, is what will be used. That would run the equipment that is needed to import the equipment to make sure that you have your, whether it's medium scale mining or whatever mining that you need to have, so that you'll be able to own the mines and the gold.
I want us to explore the Ghanaweb shares and then the 20,000 million, right?
20,000 Ghana cedis.
20,000 Ghana cedis.
For 20 million people. 20 million youth.
For 20 million youth. And how are we going to get that money?
It's the simplest portion of it.
No problem. We'll explore that further after this break. So the show is still Election Dex here on Ghanaweb TV with me, Patricia Roxanne Hammond. My guest is still Nana Akosua Frimpomaa Sapong. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back from that quick break. It's still Election Dex here on Ghanaweb TV, and my guest is still Nana Frimpomaa. Before we went to that break, you spoke about 20,000 Ghana cedis?
Yes.
For 20 million youth.
Precisely.
How are we going to get that?
Precisely.
Because Ghana is struggling. There is no money. Cost of living has skyrocketed. And I'm wondering where we're going to get that money for 20 million youth?
Yes.
Can you explain further?
Thank you. The point is simply this. It's just, let me just make a little analogy. It's like owning a property in a very high traffic area, like let's say in Accra, in Laboni or Cantonments. And it's on a 1 acre plot, and you have a very small property that your parents had. You've mortgaged with it, your father is not there. The mortgage is now a lot of payment. However, somebody walks in and realizes that this land that is lying out here is worth millions. You don't have to sell them. So let's find a way of getting some sort of investment where you turn the rest of the property into a commercialized kind of activity, so that activity would pay for whatever you owe in that property. And now you even make extra. We owe so much money, but it's in infrastructural debts. Most of the money in Ghana did not help those of us in the informal sector. It came in to either pay for roads, bridges, airports, major infrastructure, which were not even owned by Ghanaians. So we owe almost 800 billion, however, which has skyrocketed and has really brought so much inflation. And because everything in Ghana is imported and not produced here, what we've ended up doing is having a high living level of living, and people getting frustrated, we can't make income. So Ghanaweb shares is still going to be about half the money.
Which is one of your policies.
Yes, which is the policy that we are bringing along. It's what is going to make Ghana work again. It's going to take Ghana from the informal sector to the formal sector. It's going to make sure that the galamsey, the people who are just working as laborers and working and getting under the coming out from the mud and working in those chemical water and polluting our waters, are now going to have funds to be able to own the mines. The big difference here is this: that money, which was taken to bring in the equipment to own the mine, is the same gold that you are taking that's going to pay for the mines. That money is what's going to take to go to the farmer. That is why we say that under our policy, that we would fade out hoe and cutlass farming. There will be no hoe and cutlass farming in the next 4 years. By the time we are done, what my great-great-parents used to do is gone. It shouldn't happen again. Nobody should go farm for 2, 8 hours, 6 hours, and then that becomes the way of living. And he still has to survive with just a hoe and a cutlass and a basket. So the Ghanaweb shares, where is the money coming from? It means that that money is going to buy the tractor, the combined harvester, the irrigation, everything that is needed to turn that small petty peasant farmers into commercialized farming. But they would own it. So it takes the petty trader, petty farmer, petty business person, the tabletop business into making cooperative and corporations. How is it going to be functioning? How is it going to take it so that from the galamsey system, as we see today, under our administration, it will end overnight? The moment we take it off, because we have a system, as I mentioned earlier, called the government at your doorsteps, which means that wherever you walk to vote becomes your government center. It means within any government center, you would have more than 8 to 1,000 families, because that is how the voting system is structured. That is why when you go to some place today, you might have 2 voting, you might have 1 voting center. Then the next time you go there, you might have another 2 or 3, because the people have moved in there more. They base it really about the per household, how many human beings, how many adults, eligible voters are in that area, where eligibility means from 18 and up. So with the Ghanaweb and with our policy of bringing government to your doorsteps, it decentralizes and localizes every policy to the point where now, if that was in place before, when the government said that they were going to put, when the president was putting his presidency on the line and gave the whole galamsey issue to somebody that we all trusted, we would have had today, because the government at the door center, any young person there could have walked to the center and made a report. They could have put in the data to know how many youth in the area would be affected by giving the concession to one person, which would force these other youths to take their farms and now turn them into galamsey and try to get the gold as well, because somebody else is now coming to take their minerals under the earth and they own the land on the surface. So government at your doorsteps would see and get the report. You don't need to send anybody. You don't need no task force. It's supposed to go there, because the people within that community would come and make the reports. And that report, with an AI system today as we have it, would not take that information that will be put there and taking it to the various departments that can work on it.
So now we have the okay.
So the Ghanaweb shares is going to be the medium with which we would change the economic order of Ghana, and it will affect Africa. With the policies that have been implemented for the past 32 years by these 2 parties, they are neoliberal policies which says that we have opened our doors. Private sector is the engine of growth. We don't have capital, but we say that we're going to do 1 district, 1 factory. So you come in there, you come up with an idea, brilliant idea, it will be approved, but the bank is supposed to give you a loan, and you don't have the money. So the German company, the Italian, the Chinese, who can have access in their countries, now will bring the factories here. Nobody, and listen to me clearly, nobody is going to own the factories. You, the Ghanaian, would own the factory with the Ghanaweb shares. Any idea that you have ever dreamt of, any ideas that you are dreaming today, you will not have to worry about whether you have money or not. If you have an idea and it's put together, you just need to find enough young people, old people, blind people, deaf people. It does not matter. A Ghanaian is our child. A Ghanaian is my child. My son can walk or might not walk. It doesn't matter. I'll feed the child. So every Ghanaian would have equity. So you can then convince enough people who would put their shares allocation in that business so that that business becomes the factory that will be running anything that you have dreamt of. That is what we intend to do. Agriculture will be the first, and then the value chain down agriculture would be that. That is how we'll set up the new industry in Ghana, not owned by foreigners. So at any point where foreign companies want to come, they would only come in and partner with you. You would have the ownership, and they will partner. That debt is nothing. 25 billion is only small money in the face of the trillions that Ghana will be making based on the creativity, ingenuity, and the energy of entrepreneurism that we'll be bringing back to the Ghanaian. The Ghanaian is an entrepreneur, and we as a government will give you the base and the support so that that spirit of the Ghanaian, the spirit of never giving up of the Ghanaian youth. Let me give you something before I finish. Okay. You see the Ghanaian youth, everywhere that we, the adults, have not come their way in terms of living to their fullest, they have excelled. Whether it's in football, all the youth has to do is find some small football. They don't need even a pack. They even use they don't need a boot or anything. They will practice in that village until morning and evening after school, until they become the best in dribbling and things. And then before you realize, they are the Asians and others, because they did not need an adult. If they needed an adult to put a pack and buy the footballs and things, no Ghanaian would have developed. So my point here is this: the spirit of the Ghanaian is the best assets that we have. They are the same boys who walk down the street, save a little money, buy a backpack. They will walk through the desert and get to Libya. Then go into capsizing boats, end up in Italy, end up in Germany, and now Ghana. They call them the diasporans. And before you realize, the economy of this country has the most coming from the diaspora. So my point here is this: if we have that energy, why don't we give them the capital for them to use their youthful energy, the persistence and never giving up spirit, which is already inborn in them? They don't give up. All the businesses you see, from the Mark Zuckerberg, go and read about how he did the Facebook. They had one already. We had what we call MySpace and things. Find out how they developed that, and you understand the story of never giving up. And all you need is just a system and a structure to support you. We have cracked the code. I am telling you, the Ghanaweb shares is the code that the Ghanaian needs to be able to unleash the potential and the God-given spirit. We are supposed to be the most religious country in the world. That was by Gallup poll. You can go and check. Why? Why do we have so much lack and poverty then? Because the adults we have not put in structures and systems that will take your dream, help you live your dream. By me also investing in you, then all of us will rise up.
I can see you're so passionate about Ghanaweb shares. Let me just make it this way. Ghanaweb shares is one of your policies.
Yes.
Government at your doorsteps is your second policy. And then your third policy is the agriculture.
Agro-show.
Agro-show.
Agro-show. S-U.
Agro-show.
Yes, agro-show.
Okay. That is where you're going to revamp all the factories?
Yeah, that's the agro-show is the foundation upon which we will take the peasant farmer system into commercial industrialized farming, as we used to do in our time, which was called the state farms. But instead of just coming straight with the state farms, because there's a certain disconnect now between the Ghanaian and public ownership. Okay. The Ghanaian now, and the depth of corruption in this country today has brought a certain disconnect from people. So anything that is for government, nobody cares. So you need to bring back ownership and a certain ownership of people feeling that they are part of a corporation, of a company, so that they can work towards it. So we have bridged that state partnership thing to the point where the farmer, the agro-show simply states that no farmer in Ghana would farm a produce. If you plant your cassava, your okra, your tomatoes, your onion, just as we do with the cocoa. The moment you plant, you have money. You don't have to worry about who is going to come there to buy your watermelon and get it rotten at the farm. I believe it's a crime against everybody, the farmers, that they now have to spend their day, as you spend your day at work, they spend their day at the farm for 2, 3, 5, 8 hours. And then at the end of the day, she has no idea to know that the next village, the next neighbor, also cultivated maybe 3 acres or 5 acres of the same watermelon.
Okay.
And then before you realize, there's so much watermelon in the system, and she has to now worry about how she sells the watermelon at the farms. It's not going to happen under administration, because we believe in technology and we believe in every human being, everybody.
You came into the elections 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And we have 2 more months to the election. Are you sure you're really prepared for this?
Because
you know, other political parties have already campaigned, like I think from the beginning of the year, and you only have 2 months.
Do you think you can? Here. That is why I'm talking to you. You have a large base, and it is my belief that for even the Ghanaian in the diaspora, we don't have time. If I tell them the policy that we are bringing to affect them in that diaspora, they would love us. So I want to trust that 2 months is such a long time from walking to the polls. Mm-hmm. It's on the day of poll. When you have voted, it's finished. But before you vote, you know what is right for you. Ask yourself the right questions. How much money are you bringing home now for your children, for your family, for your wife, for your parents? Those who be reading. Because I used to read Ghanaweb every day, me and my daughter, when I was in the US.
Oh, okay.
Those of you who be reading, how much money are you bringing now? You might change the dollar high, but that dollar has no meaning anymore, because Kenke is now 20 cedis or more. So here is the point. Organize yourselves. Tell your brother, your cousin, your mother to organize themselves at the polling station. Let them take the message and send it to the person at the polling station. And if they send it to the people there, because with our what do you call it, government at the doorsteps, what it simply means is that you don't need to walk to the district center. You don't need to look for your assemblyman or your minister. You don't need your parliamentarian. You just need that 10 people that we are going to have at each polling station who will be manning the center. You just need to walk to that polling station. And if you can't walk, there's even a website that you can go to. So if you walk there, you can crawl there, if that's all you have to do, and tell them this is what you are looking for and that you are ready for your Ghanaweb shares. We are bringing a system in place where you can register for the Ghanaweb shares right away. Let me tell you this. Don't let anybody deceive that 2 months is a short time. We only need you to talk to your brother, your wife, your mother, and your cousin, and you yourself to vote for yourself. Because when you vote for CPP, you'll be voting for the galamsey, but you'll be voting to own the gold. When you vote for CPP, you'll be voting for yourself today and your future. Because the gold will not go to no company. I don't want to mention international companies here. But nobody is going to hit a gold vein and say that, and their shares will go. Your shares will be the ones going up. So if you ask me, we have a lot of time. The good news is that this is the Convention People's Party. Mm-hmm. It is the party of Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And I believe in the spirit of the Ghanaian. I believe in the Osajifo spirit that is ignited in all of us. Osajifo spirit is not about his legacy. It is about selfless dedication. Anybody listening to me that has something to contribute to his life, to your life and to Ghana, and you wish you were in Ghana, you wish Ghana was working, how's Ghana going to work?
Now, our time is limited, but before I go to education, I spoke about the high cost of living and the fact that people in the diaspora cannot invest in this country because of the high interest rates and other things. Those other ports are also complaining. Those importing goods are also complaining. The charges are so high. There was a video recently where one man was saying that he bought a car for $10,000, but the duties alone is $30,000. And what would you do about it if you should be the president?
Very simple. You see, when you have a solution, it looks so simple that people don't understand. Just like Osadifo was talking and crying, that African unity, people thought he wanted to bring himself and become a king or something. No. Today, we know that without that African unity, we are still struggling. Because if we had united, we would have the power and the strength to be able to put our resources together. You know something? Whatever we are saying that we will be doing when we get power, when we get the authority with every Ghanaian, that government at your doorsteps is your government center.
Looking at education, this government has introduced free SHS for the past 8 years. What will you do differently? Is this something you will continue, or you're bringing in a new initiative altogether?
For the past 8 years, in 1966, is when CPP was overthrown. Before that time, there was free education. This Fourth Republic, when CPP came back to power, one of our cardinal policies, as we are coming up with the Ghana Bashers, the government at your doorsteps, and the agro show, one of our cardinal policies was free education to the university level. From kindergarten to university. So indirectly, I will say you're continuing. We will continue, but let me tell you a little twist. Okay. Based on the structure today, and release it much later. For those of you who can afford, because of technology and the way we'll set it up, would let you pay for it. But it will be free to those who can't afford. That's what I believe. From primary to the university and to the PhD level. Why should my daughter? They had the same access from high school. When we went back to the USA, she was then, I left and I came here. I couldn't support her the way I support. She went to the top school, Princeton. She finished her PhD because she was determined. I believe that the systems should be put in place for everybody. No Ghanaian should be left behind. No youth left behind. No child left behind. Everybody must matter. So if you ask me, education under the Convention People's Party will be not just theories you can't apply, but it will be education that works with with corporation, with private sector, with government, to ensure that the skills that you are learning and that you are acquiring can be used to improve your life and to improve the community and to improve Ghana. So it will be proper education. And listen to me. The way we structured education in Ghana, it makes it look as if you don't know how to chew and pour, if you can't speak English well, we won't do that. We'll go beyond it. Today, technology, to everyone. Oh yes, technology has made it possible that I can speak my language and you would understand and talk to me in a different language. Would empower that. Because you see the Segleme, I would immediately turn that Segleme into an IT hub. And bring all the youth in the Mamobi, where do you call them again? Nima. All these young boys who are into Sakawa that we are trying to put in jail, I will convert them into productive citizens. And all the young boys in tech and Legon who have also studied about how to code, I'll put them together. 2,000 of them, they'll be paid fully. If you are voted into power, and you become the president of Ghana, you'll be making history by becoming the first female, or should I say, the first woman to be Ghana's president. How is that feeling like? Because right now I know you are just, should I say, you have already conscientized yourself that this election is a done deal. Precisely. The truth is that by sitting here, I already made history. I'm the first female to be voted into the Convention People's Party as the flag bearer. Number two, I'm also the first female to be voted into a party that has won power before. So history is there. And me, the reason why you see this passion is because even though it looks like you are saying, we have only 2 months, we've worked. I've worked for this position. I've fought internal fights. You understand? To get here. To get here. So I know the spirit of not giving up. And I got here not because I wanted to be president, because I had and have a mission. And the mission is to give the country back to the youth of this country. I want to give it back to them because, like you see, the youth who went on the street and he's now in prison somewhere for 2 weeks. Some people, as I'm telling you, if you put them there, by the time they come home, their house will be burnt. My children are already grown. I'm not saying that I'm ready to die, but what else am I looking for in this world? I just want to make sure that I leave a legacy that my father left, that my uncle left. And that is to say that the Ghana that we fought for, the independence that we fought for, was not just to enrich some people's life. It was so that the youth who supported our father Osagyefo, who took him from what do you call it, Odo, he was in jail when they voted for him. They used the term to take him out. So that youth is the same youth I'm counting on, that they would use their tongue to stop the galamsey. They will use their tongue to stop the escalation of the dollar. They will use their tongue to set up the factories again. They will use their tongue to take ownership of Ghana so that any investor that comes here would only come to partner, just as was done in Dubai. It is not so that they come in and take over the country. Right. What we have here today, if you don't take care, all the people promising you will bring this investor, we might end up where we one day will get up. I'm not scaring you, but there are parts of Africa where people start burning themselves because they don't own anything. I want you to take back this country and own what God has given you. We will give you the resources. If you have the energy and you want to work, you would work in Ghana. When you travel outside, you'd go there for holidays. You go there for investment and partnership, not for anybody to take over here. Ownership is what we are giving back to you.
Ownership, yeah.
Ownership.
Thank you very much. Nana Akosua Frimpomaa Sapong Kuma, flag bearer of the CPP. I'm grateful for your time, and I believe the youth have also heard you. So I'm wishing you the best in the upcoming elections. And the show has been Election Decks here on Ghanaweb TV with me, Patricia Roxanne Hammond. Until the same time next week, be nice to one another.